You are not defending Boniface Mwangi or Martha Karua. You are defending the Republic of Kenya. You are asking Tanzania, don't play with the people of Kenya. Don't play with Kenya. Oh. We are willing to go to war with you because of one individual. If I'm Samia Suluhu, I thank God. Who would have known such a woman would be president? Even herself, when she sits down. Can she see ni God manze? Can she thank God that God, you have this far you have brought me, Ebenezer?
Great to see you. It is always a pleasure to have you joining us for our political conversations here on Harman Manyora's YouTube channel. These conversations are conversations I hope will help our leaders in making better policy decisions and informed political moves here in the country. And now across the borders, with activists being arrested and deported, Boniface Mwangi is missing. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. Great to see you. How are you doing?
Good.
Listen to this conversation that is happening about Kenyans going to Tanzania, actually fighting for the opposition leader who has been arrested. And you think to yourself, is the Kenyan government right by saying we enjoy a lot of freedoms here? We can't go and behave the way we behave here in Kenya in other countries. Is this the right way if you listen to Foreign Affairs Minister and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi speaking on the same?
Well, you will forgive Mudavadi. He's not a diplomat. He doesn't understand how countries behave. A serious country, you touch their citizen, they are on fire. Mambo ina utajua baadaye. Yeah. You touch an American here. You just touch an American here. Yes, but you forgive Mudavadi, he's not a diplomat. He doesn't understand diplomacy.
As simple as
that. The first thing for any nation is to defend its citizens. When they hear something has happened to a Kenyan in Tanzania, in Burundi, in Russia, the first thing is for the public of Kenya to come in defense of those citizens.
We deal with the rest.
Baadaye watadili naye. Mambo ingine ni baadaye. Yeah.
But
like detaining a Kenyan, they don't want to know why. You cannot detain Martha Karua for 6 hours and then Mudavadi is here anakunywa uji. Like that is no, you don't do that.
It's not just
those other ni kama unajua kuku na mwewe. Wakati mwewe anakuja kuchukua vifaranga wa kuku anapigana na mwewe kwanza. Ndio baadaye arudi aambie vifaranga next time mkitoka hapo kurandarana mtaniona. So Mudavadi must defend Martha Karua first. And then later awaita awaambia lakini nyinyi naye hii ni nchi ya wenyewe. Sasa muenda kule nini nawasumbua nyinyi?
But there's a section of Kenyans who don't sympathize with what Boniface Mwangi is going through. We must talk about that too. Some say there's a lot of commercial activism. Yes. You don't believe in the cause, but you're getting paid to do what they are doing in Tanzania. Yes. Does this hold water for you?
It is possible. You know the world of NGO, the civil society world, is a world of people making money. You saw Trump peeling the masks and showing how American dollars are being spent on useless things, on civil society. So it happens. Yeah. I can't say no, those things happen. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their living. Okay. Guys have never worked, but you see they own property. They drive wonderful cars. They live in wonderful places. But you can't blame them. There is money from the West. Why can't they eat it? Let them eat it.
Then let's go back to Musalia Mudavadi and the caliber of our leaders. I think Oscar Sudi spoke about Wakwe disciplined there. Samson Cherargei talked about the same. But I want to focus on freedoms that we have in this country. Do you believe that Kenya has allowed a lot of freedoms or should other countries learn from Kenya? Because this is the same situation we're seeing in Uganda and now Tanzania.
Freedoms are not allowed. Who allows freedom? Freedoms are not given. No. If you look at our constitution, we are very clear. Nobody has the power to give us our freedoms. Those are ours. Okay. Yeah. They are not allowed by who? So who is allowing the freedom? Who?
So these talks, I know Willis calls them legacy politicians. Yes. These talks that they bring, At what time or what point will Kenyans understand the freedoms that they hold? And is this what we are seeing with Boniface Mwangi, that even the pact between the East African community, they can go to other countries and they can still enforce, freedoms for other countries?
Those freedoms, those freedoms are some of them are universal. Some of them are not territorial. So if we are in the East African community and we must enjoy as brothers and sisters of the same region, you can't curtail those freedoms. Yeah. We feel for our brothers in Tanzania. We feel for our brothers in Uganda and Burundi and elsewhere. We may want them to enjoy the freedoms we enjoy. So a little of activism extended to them is a good thing to me.
What do you think is the global image of East Africa? Now, the president of Tanzania is being called Idi Amin Mama. There is Yoweri Museveni, who has arrested Besigye, President Ruto in this country, extrajudicial killings. What is the image of East Africa?
Oh, okay, we're coming out looking bad. It is like what I have participated in many international debates on both radio and television, especially radio. And what comes out is the people from Burundi, Tanzania, Uganda, they really admire our freedoms. So it is something they would also wish to enjoy. Something else that comes out is that the East African region seems to be backpedaling.
Oh.
That freedoms we had, for example, in Kenya, some things we had taken for granted. Some freedoms we had taken for granted. Somebody is beginning to question those freedoms. And the people of Tanzania and maybe Uganda, we knew they were not enjoying the same space like we are enjoying. But nobody was really cramping down on them. So there's a way in which you sadly see that we are making many steps backwards.
Even the blocking of X in Tanzania,
Yeah,
you wonder.
If I was Samia Suluhu Hassan, she finished Magfuli's term, eh?
Yes.
And there's an election coming.
Yes.
I want to tell leaders, and I tell people, in fact tomorrow I'll be in a meeting where I'm a director, and I want to tell people these things. Don't try to scheme unnecessarily. Just live a simple life. Do simple things. Wacha kukuwa mwerevu sana na mjanja sana. Hakuna haja. If I'm Samia Suluhu, I thank God. Who would have known such a woman would be president? Even herself, when she sits down. Can she see ni God manze? Can she thank God that God, this far you have brought me, Ebenezer? Surely. And I thank you, God. I have led the people of Tanzania. If they give me another term, I will thank you, God, and I will lead them. Should they see otherwise, I'll be willing to go home and join my fellow citizens of Tanzania, the United Republic of Tanzania, in building the nation. This is the new world we want. For leaders to begin seeing this. You know why we are poor? It ties in with what I'm saying. You know why we are poor as Africans? When we got independence, our energies were concentrated on two things. Energies and the resources and everything was put into, number one, preserving the state. Where the state simply meant the president. So that for the president to remain the president, we put everything into it and made all the compromises. Even allowed foreigners a free whole, whatever the country, the one I'm looking for. Free access to our resources because they were protecting the president and the state. The second thing, all energies were spent on looting and plundering by the same elite at the top. If we had spared some time to develop our countries in Africa, we would be very far. I look at Kenya, for example, and I was discussing with somebody, was it Bruno? I was discussing with somebody at that time, and we were saying, surely, if we got our politics right, if we got our politics right, in 10 years. What is this nonsense you are talking of? South Korea, Sijui, Singapore. We will bypass those countries. We have what it takes to be a world leader, to sit on the table of first world countries and share the table with them.
You've said something interesting, protecting the presidency, protecting the state.
Yes.
You look at Samia Suluhu,
Yes.
you look at Yoweri Museveni, you look at
Yes.
President Ruto, extrajudicial killings, and you wonder, what is the responsibility of Kenya especially? Because we are the example. You know, countries quote Kenya when it comes to freedoms and human rights.
You know, if this country had, you know what, to answer your question, let's go back to the dying years of the 1970s. Culminating in the overthrow of Amin Dada from Uganda in 1979. What you are asking is what Tanzania did, what Nyerere did. They said we cannot allow Amin to rain terror on the people of Uganda. And they contributed. But you see, Tanzania has had a history of helping other countries in the liberation. So they played a critical role in removing Idi Amin. And when those who took over from Amin were also misbehaving, Museveni was in Tanzania and he received a lot of support. So the question you're asking is a very valid question. Those countries that know the meaning of peace and democracy and freedoms should find a way of assisting their neighbors enjoy those freedoms. Yeah.
Do you think we are in a dictatorship kind of governance in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania? Because this is what people have said about the president. We've had political pundits calling him a modern dictator. This is what we are seeing with Tanzania, the arrest of the opposition leader. This is what we're seeing with Uganda.
You see, Jad, if you are talking about dictatorship, you cannot put Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya in the same sentence. Let's be fair to ourselves. No, we are not there. We are not there. We enjoy freedoms which Ruto cannot curtail. He can try, but he can't. So Ruto may want to be a strong man. Ruto may want to be a dictator if you wish, which is what you are saying. But in this country, you can't. So talk about dictatorship about Uganda and Tanzania, not Kenya. No, you can't. Those things Museveni is doing, can Ruto do them in Kenya? You leave State House in just a week's time or less.
What Suluhu is doing in Tanzania,
you can't. What Suluhu is doing, you can't do in Kenya. Well, Kenya tumeendelea bwana. Na tujisifu. Let's praise ourselves. Let's not be too hard on ourselves. These freedoms you enjoy, nobody can curtail them. You can try mdogo kitu hapa na pale.
Yeah.
But if you go in the way of Tanzania or Uganda or Burundi or Rwanda, my friend, you can't last in State House.
This is why Cherargei anasema wachapiwe huko. You can't.
Cherargei can only say the things he's saying, and Sudi and Manyora and you. But on the ground, there are many things you can't change.
Finally, with regards to Boniface Mwangi, and there's another lady activist who is still missing, what is your advice for Musalia Mudavadi now dealing with the diplomacy aspect of this case?
Mudavadi has already shown that he doesn't understand how diplomacy works. The pride of nations, even a tiny little country must have some pride. You get it? And that's why we keep these soldiers and feed them and pay them well. We should pay them slightly better. But that's why they are there. So that our integrity as people, our pride as people, nobody touches it. If you bruise our pride, we can pounce on you even if you will beat us. Let's die defending our dignity.
I'm asking for actionable steps now.
So now I'm saying that's what Mudavadi ought to know, and which he has miserably failed to know. You are not defending Boniface Mwangi or Martha Karua. You are defending the Republic of Kenya. You are asking Tanzania, don't play with the people of Kenya. Don't play with Kenya.
No.
We are willing to go to war with you because of one individual. You take one American here and do something to him. America will descend on you. And I'm not saying because America is big. That's the way it should be. Look, it happens all the time. You cannot take people's citizens and play around with them. There are recognized ways of dealing with foreigners in your country. And there are conventions of how to do that. You get it?
Yes.
You can't get a Kenyan and treat him. If you mishandle Tanzanians, you cannot extend that to Ugandans or to Kenyans. You get it?
Yes.
That's why people are not happy with what this government did to the guys from Turkey, to BCJ from Uganda, to another one was, I don't know from where.
Maria from Tanzania.
Yes.
The journalist.
So that's, I want to be kind to Mudavadi. He doesn't understand how diplomacy works. You get it? You cannot do the things you do to your citizen to other people. There are conventions. The first thing you do if you are so annoyed with them, you deport them. You can't detain them. You get it?
Yes.
If you go to Tanzania and they are not happy with what you have gone to do, they have the right as a country. They are a sovereign state. Wanakuingiza kwa ndege wanakuambia rudi Kenya, enda peleka ujinga Kenya. That's allowed. But you are not allowed to detain anybody. So you are saying Boniface Mwangi and I don't know who. That is unacceptable. Kenya can land there with an army because of one citizen. And that's what it means to be a sovereign state. To defend your citizens and your borders at all costs. One individual in Tanzania, Kenya can land there and declare war and go and remove him.
Well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. It's the people of Kenya, not just Boniface Mwangi. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.